Now, gloves on, mic hot, let's fight. Fighters, ready. Now, before we get into what's Hunter's number, we gotta talk about what happened this past weekend. And he didn't win, but he's still a dang diamond. Dustin Poirier's last dance at UFC 318 wasn't about the BMF belt. It was about legacy. And win or lose, he walked out a legend. Shout out to Max Holloway. You can't hate a warrior for winning. BMF's only. And Dana White said Sean Jones at the White House? Nah. Retire the GOAT again. Diamonds are forever, even if they don't leave with the belt. And this ain't matchmaking. Guesswork, it's legacy building. It is what's Hunter's number. And of course, we are still making welterweight great again. And this week is part 1 of our overall master plan for the division. So this week we are giving you the first part of the plan, which is the gatekeeper fight we would make and the title match fight we would make, with our overall plan to follow next week. So the gatekeeper fight that we would make at welterweight to give a new guard for the title, much like Robert Whittaker was for the longest time in the middleweight division, is Sean Brady versus Bilal Muhammad. Now, Sean's only got one L, and that's to Bilal. And he's won again since. And Bilal's whole vibe has been gatekeeping contenders over the past. So this one is a fireworks matchup, revenge narrative, and clarity for the rankings. You either solidify Bilal as the next gatekeeper, or you finally move him out of the way and let Sean Brady be the next guard to the title. And our title match that we would make at 170 would be Jack Della Maddalena versus Shavkat Rakhmonov for the undisputed belt. Now, we already said Scat Islam versus Jack. It's not the greatest matchup right now. Call Jack, tell him play sick. Get Islam versus Ilya for the interim at 170. And then like a month or two later, have Jack versus Shavkat for pure 170 pound violence. Make it a last minute call so they don't question, but why did you have someone fight for the interim? Maybe have Islam fight Ilya for the interim right before Ramadan or while Ilya's traveling. That way it makes sense why they're making this undisputed title fight without the winner of that matchup with the interim belt. And it's not like they have a problem with people fighting for the title when there's an interim. John Jones. So this way, it sets up a unified title war between two divisions later next year, with both Ilya and Islam now at 170 and both of them having fought for title at 170. Gives clarity as well and gets the winner of the super fight between Ilya and Islam versus now the technical best at 170 pounds. Everybody eats. Jack versus Shavkat, Islam versus Ilya, unify the belts, shake the game. This is how you make welterweight great again. And Liverpool might not do if buts and maybes, but here on Goat Island we do. And obviously our theme for the month is the Eagle Flies High, with Khabib from his first title contract signed at UFC 205 through to his first title defense at UFC 229 against Conor. And this week's What If? Well, where one pullout changed the division. So what if Max didn't max out the scale? UFC 223 was chaos. Tony was out, Max in, and then pulled for medical reasons. We ended up getting Khabib versus Iaquinta, but what if Max made weight? That's a title fight against a prime feared Max Holloway. Probably a finish, probably a show, and if it happened, Khabib's title reign would include Dustin, Conor, Justin, and Max, all in title fights. Now that's a god tier resume. If Max made weight, Khabib's belt would have been carved from skulls. That's a title reign from the gods.